Hey, and welcome to our Wednesday night power chat. And there you are. You were missing for a little bit, Kath. You were hiding. I'm Nikki Leonti from Start Your Own Family Daycare, and tonight I am joined by Kath Orsler from Simple Reflect. Good evening.
Hi, Nikki. How you doing?
So I'm good. And as you can see, the weather has changed again up here on the Sunshine Coast. It's actually quite warm.
You're back in your strappy shirts.
It's hit and miss.
Yes.
I am. All day it was like this.
I can't believe
25, I think, is our winter. So,
yeah,
it's just crazy. So we're back for another week doing our Educators Can Power Chats. So in these sessions, we answer questions that people have sent in. We also answer questions that you may leave. So if you want to leave a comment below with a question, we will answer that in our session tonight. And if we don't get to all of the questions, which hasn't happened yet, then we will definitely cover it next week. So leave your comments below. Let us know if you're here. I would actually really be interested for people to write a comment in and let me know how long you've been doing family daycare for, because we were having a chat the other night. We're thinking, are people kind of just starting out? I know a lot of people are kind of in that first year or two that I mostly talk to, but I'm sure there's other people watching who've been doing it for longer. So leave a comment below with how long you've been doing family daycare, because see and celebrate that. So tonight we have 3 questions lined up. So let's bring up the first one.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is Kath's domain. This question is, how do you start programming for a new child? Now this is specific for people who are just starting out, and also for people who've been doing it for a while and they've got a new child and they're thinking, so now what do I do? Fire away, Kath, because this is your specialty.
So I love to talk to educators about a child's first day. So if you have a new child, start programming for them on the very first day. But what you pop in with your programming or with your documentation is how you're going to go about settling them, how you're going to go about talking to the other children about this new child that we have. Make it exciting. They have a new friend. Even if it's a new bubba, you can talk about rules with new bubbas. But programming, and especially observations, do your first observation for a new child on the first day, that very first day, so that straight off, or that they were interested, or that they made a connection straight away with certain children. Like, start a new child's programming and observations on the first day. Don't wait a month and then go, oh, I've got a new child and I haven't done the programming and I haven't done the observation. Do it on the first day and you're right on the right foot.
Excellent. Because
I
think that was the kind of answer people were looking for, is the main things that we're wanting to really document down in that first day and their first week. What do they enjoy? How do they settle in? What their routine is like, all of those kinds of things. But also I love taking photos and I do send a lot of photos to parents in that first their first week, because, parents want to see if they're okay and how they're doing. So I do like to send photos to parents. Those are the kind of main things to really look for, because, early childhood education is way more in depth, way more kind of, it's not necessarily complex, but it's a lot more than just being able to read and being able to write and count their numbers and all that kind of stuff. doing the ABCs and 1, 2, 3s. That's like a tiny section of what we're really supporting and nurturing our children in early childhood education. It's about them feeling safe. It's about them belonging in your environment that you want to be, you know, keeping track of and noting down. So it's I always love using photos.
Yes. Yep.
To be able to relax and learn and play and engage with the other children. They're not going to do any of that until they trust you and they feel safe. So that's your first goal, and that's what you want to be running down. But I mentioned this quite a few weeks ago in one of our earlier sessions about my love of taking photos and about photos for a purpose. So not just, you know, snapping 100 photos just because you want your Facebook page to look pretty, or your Facebook group for your parents, or photos of meaningful moments. So, you know, of that child, you know, when they actually start to move closer perhaps to the group of children playing, that's a meaningful moment. Of the child sitting down at you know, meal times, that's a meaningful moment. Perhaps they go and put their things away in their little cubby or wherever their bags are. That's a meaningful moment. So take photos of those, because that's going to be easier for you to keep your notes and to add to their, because you can see there's something significant happening in each of those photos rather than lots of ones and you're trying to make them smile and all that kind of stuff. You know, you don't need to be doing that. Obviously, you do want to have one where the child is happy, so you can send the parents so they can stop, you know, having a heart attack all day. You know, that's important. And I don't,
sorry.
I don't
need
like
to be not intrusive.
Scare the parents.
I think I've got a little bit of a delay. I'm sorry.
That's right.
Sorry. I think photos need to be non-intrusive. You know, and if it's slightly blurry but it shows something that's meaningful, that's a lot better than a fake smile happening, you know, when you've disturbed them or you've a lot of the time if you try and get a, you know, smile for the camera, they'll smile and they won't go back to what the beautiful thing that they were doing that you're trying to share. So you've disturbed them, and then that beautiful moment that you were trying to capture won't continue. I think the continuation of that beautiful moment is more important than the smile on a child's face.
Yes. So I definitely think that has answered that question, because you know, it can be tricky in that first day or week, and
and you want to
grab and you're trying to settle them. So
you want two different lots of photos as well. You want photos that you can text to a parent just to reassure a parent and form that connection right at the start of a new child coming into care. But then you want photos that you can put in an observation so that you're documenting the meaningful moments as well. So you sort of want to think two ways when you're taking your photos with a new child.
Yeah. Okay, so our next question is what to say at an interview with a prospective family. And this one came up in one of the Facebook groups maybe a couple of weeks ago. So a fairly new educator has finally kind of got to that stage of, all right, I've got parents coming next week, I say to them. And, you know, we get all caught up in, I want to have these beautiful resources and I want to have this space and I want to do this and I'm going to buy this. And then you're thinking, now I have to actually talk to these parents and share with them and, you know, encourage them to come along and book their child in. So some of the things I say at an interview is, first of all, I really the child. So I don't enroll anyone unless I've met the child and I want to see what they're like in our environment where, you know, it's a small environment. if they're not gonna, if they, you know, the personalities don't gel, it can make your life really, really difficult. Hi, Kelly. I just saw Kelly's little comment there. Hello. Thanks for joining us tonight. So it can be really hard if they don't all gel. So I always make sure that the child is there. So I want to know what the child is really interested in. I want to know if the child's been in care before. I know what they're. I want to know what they're scared of. I want to know what their kind of family situation is like. Who's around? Who's kind of caring for them the majority of the time, or forgot. I want to have a bit of an idea. I don't obviously be too intrusive, but just to kind of get a general idea of what the situation is. And then I like to know, obviously, like things like anything that parents are concerned about, or there's any allergies and all of that kind of medical side of things, developmental side of things. And then I just want to play with the child, show them a couple of things. Don't have everything out because that can be super overwhelming for them. And, you know, I always ask the parents before they come, what's their favorite thing to do? And so I try, that's kind of the main things that I do in that, in regards to the child. And then with the parent, I really talk about, you know, if they are interested, I give them not used family daycare before and the importance of having backup care. Because, you know, we're not superhuman and sometimes we're closed for, you know, for emergencies or whatever happens. And always go through, I always go through the handbook with them. So if they've shown interest that they're definitely keen to sign up, then I go through the handbook and just, you know, highlight sickness policy, fee policy, when fees are due and all that kind of thing. And talk about, you know, what kind of needs they have. So some of that happens before I meet with them. So I talk about, you know, what days they're looking for, hours, that kind of thing, because I need to make sure I can cater for them. And then, the majority of that happens in that initial interview. So is that the kind of things that you do, Kath?
Yeah, it is. I think making an actual list that you can refine as you go, because each parent that you interview, you will learn something. You'll learn something about yourself. You'll learn something about them. But have a list of questions that you refine as you move through your journey as an educator. But also ask them about things that are important to you. So if you are going to playgroup once a fortnight like I do, check that they are happy for you to take their child to playgroup. And the same if you're doing library outings or whatnot. Check that the things that are important to you being out and about are actually discussed right there at the start. That would probably be the main thing I would add. I think with the other thing is pets for me. Like we have a dog, we have chooks, we have horses, and at different stages we have a guinea pig. The children are involved with all of them, so I need to make sure there's no allergies, that there's been no scares or problems about them interacting with the animals, and that the parents are happy for that. And a lot of the time, because I mean I'm slightly out of town on 5 acres, so I think parents actually come to me expecting those sorts of experiences, or you know, knowing at least that that's a possibility. But you have to have the conversation. You just and I think those two for me are probably part of the most important ones as well that need to be added.
I definitely forgot about the family, because I didn't have a car when I started, but then I got a car a couple of months in, and I didn't know I was going to get the car when I first started, to be fair. I hadn't really thought about it, but then I was getting a bit of cabin fever and knew I had to get a bigger car so I could go out and do excursions. And one of the families just really, it did not sit well with them, and they did move. But that was okay because I needed to get out. Okay. I needed to go and do library adventures and go to play groups and stuff like that. And she just was not comfortable with that, and that was fine. You know, I really took it personally at the start.
Oh, really?
But then, you know, I did, because I was thinking, I have done everything for you, and all of those things kind of go through my head. And I realized, you know what? This is your child. This is your choice. And it's fine. It's not got anything to do with me as an educator. It was really just circumstances had changed. And so obviously the care had changed. It's great with it. But, you know, that I just moved on, and you really have to fit in. And my own kids were so much happier that we were doing excursions. And it also started because my eldest started going to school, and I had to get him to school and pick him up. And
school runs, yes.
Yeah. So
they make
it all worked out in the end. It does. And I think, the timing of those can be tricky when looking at booked hours and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think you bring up a really good point, Bart, because it's as an educator, as we go through the years, our circumstances will change. Like, as you said, with your son, you needed to start doing school runs. So to introduce those sorts of things, you may lose families or you may gain families. But, you know, don't look at it as like a personal attack. Look at it as a change of circumstances, and that's what happens in business.
Yeah, well, Kelly's just asked us a question. She said she would love us to talk more about resilience when people leave, because I do see that a lot.
It's so
in
sad.
The group. You know, you take it personally, and obviously, like, you create these amazing bonds with these children, and it's really sad. I cried most times that children have left for various reasons, like.
I mean, and we work with children because we love children. Like,
yeah, exactly. But you know, it's just about not taking the emotion out of it, because you couldn't do that, but taking the personal kind of taking it personally.
Yes,
just take that out, because sometimes it could be about you, and that's okay that you didn't gel with them, or they didn't gel with you, or whatever happened. Not everyone is going to like you, just like not everyone loves, because I mean, and it's just, you know, it's not a good fit, and you just have to take that out of it. Don't take offense. It's just, situation, and parents are always going to do what they feel is best for their child, and you just need to remember that if they don't feel that this is the best environment, that's okay, because there'll be other families that love it. It's just the way it goes. I think the hardest bit is, you know, as children get older, parents take them out and send them to a centre thinking it's more school-like, and that, like, I know that can be quite offensive, because I'm like, what do you think we do here all day? But again, it's the parents' choice.
Their choice.
You find other families and other children that are going to fit with you and what you offer. You know, offering an environment with only 4 children, the same educator every day, and the flexibility that we can offer. You need to highlight those things as well to parents, but they can only do so much.
Absolutely. You can only do so much. But remembering on an ongoing basis that you are selling yourself as a business, but parents will move on for all sorts of reasons. And it is about not taking it personally, But also remember that it happens to all educators. It's not only happening to you. And realistically, you know, most educators will have a family move on at some stage for either an unpleasant or a pleasant reason. Like, you know, that's the way, it's sort of the way it rolls.
Yes. And I think this kind of leads into our next question, which is, what do you do if you're having a bad day? Now, when you're at a centre or if you're working in literally any other workplace, and you can go and moan to the person next to you, you can go and, you know, step out the office for a little bit, you could go and have a lunch break, family daycare, you can do none of those things and you are the moment. So what are the kinds of things that you do, Kath, that helps get you through a hard day?
Well, I read this and my first thing was lie on the floor and read books. We're coming into winter here. I've got the log fire on. I have all the cushions out in a corner with a big book basket. And I actually had a new Bubba start this week. He's 5 months old. And he just wanted to crawl all over us. So we literally did actually lay on the floor and read books. So sometimes we get in our heads what we should do. And sometimes if we just take a step back and go, okay, what will work? They just want to sit on me, or they just want to cuddle me, or, hey, you know what? Let's just sit on the floor and snuggle and cuddle. Like, why not? You know, we have 4 children, and to spend maybe half an hour doing that will make the rest of the day a lot better. Isn't it better than to spend that half an hour reconnecting, having a little quiet time, than pushing through an awful day? So, and it depends also why it's being a hard day as well, I suppose, whether you have an unwell child or...
Yeah. For me, a hard day was everyone was just kind of pulling everything out, and it had been raining for a long time, and it was just miserable. Like, we're just stuck inside for so long. So for me, I always have a backup plan. Now, I've always had older children, so over 2s. So balloons are my backup. And
I love it.
I learned this from an educator, from like a teacher that I taught with years ago. She always had, I always thought that was really odd, because I'm this new teacher and I'm like, you know, we got to do this, and, you know, all the, you know, trying to do everything by the book. And if a child was upset, she'd pull out a balloon. If things weren't going well, she'd pull out a balloon. And I was like, you are brilliant. And children love balloons. So this particular day, when everything was just going south, we packed everything away and blew up balloons, as many balloons as I had, and we were just throwing them around. And I don't know any child that does not love just, you know, flashing balloons around the lounge. And they gave me some space, some peace to kind of think, okay. And then I looked at deep breaths and like, okay, it's going to be okay. It hurts. And sometimes if if things are really hard, or, you know, a new child isn't settling and I need backup, you know, you contact your scheme, contact your coordinator. If it's really hard, if you've got that kind of connection, call a fellow educator and just, you know, spend a couple of minutes on the phone and help them kind of, talk you through this. Balloons on hand. I guess just have that kind of backup thing. And I don't use balloons in any other activity ever. Balloons are like the most amazing thing. Bubbles are really good as well. Bubbles are, you know, always really distracting. I couldn't do bubbles that day because it was raining, so I can't do inside.
Oh, she's
bit
not a bubble
slippery.
person inside. Hey, we've sat on the kitchen floor and done
No.
bubbles inside before.
My boys just run, and then the floors get all slippery.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
so I just can't do that.
No.
And even in our new house, the same kind of thing. Yes. Okay, hang on. We've got a couple of comments here. Ali has said, I love we get in our heads of what we should be doing. She's been struggling with this, arguing with herself about what I should do and what am I doing. And I've stated on my curriculum that daily is an emergent approach. And that is so good, because one of the reasons why we get stressed is because whatever is happening right now, we don't want it to be happening, but it is. So if you kind of let that go and accept that it is what it is right now, and stop trying to make it different, stop trying to make them stop crying, or stop trying to, you want them to have less energy, or whatever is happening. It is what it is in the moment, and you need to kind of let go and be okay with how it is. As long as no one's being injured, you do need to kind of stop thinking you've got to be doing particular plan all the time. And Kelly's also just said that they've got 2 birthdays this week, and children with balloons for arrival. So yes, that would be a really fun way to celebrate. That would be pretty cool. I reckon kids would love that. Kids would love that.
Have fun. We're supposed to have fun with the children through the day. Have fun. So I think another go-to with me
that
is
can
music.
Help reduce your stress.
Absolutely. Yes. Look at, where can we have fun from here? I think another one for me is music as well. The children and I do, we silly dance. So music can just sort of change the mood, we're all a bit grumpy or we're all a bit cry or whatever, switch on some music and have a silly dance. And it might only be for 5 minutes, but it's just enough to change the mood. And the other thing I had to add as well, from if you're having a hard day, like you said, sometimes the children just pull out everything. At the very end of the day is a really great time to go, okay, well, this was actually a really hard day. Did I have too much out? Did I have too much expectations? Did I plan too much? Actually critically reflect on the day at the end and work out, was it just a bad day? Or were there changes that you could have for next time, make and make that realization so that it doesn't happen in the same way again?
Yeah, I do love music, and even just having kind of that backup activity that can just switch the mood. Is definitely helpful. And a comment as well, she thinks that parents love the approach too, that you're more open and flexible in the way that you operate. When parents come and say such and such was up at 4:30 this morning and was unsettled all night. That is definitely again another big win for family daycare is that we have that flexibility and kind of more going with the flow. And that is what it's about. Having way too much structure can be very difficult to cope with for me if I know I've got no flexibility in my day. And so you can imagine it would be hard for children if they can't just have that kind of free play. And so reflection is what reflection on how it went, reflection on what you could do better, and what you could maybe have organised for next time as your backup thing.
Yep. And
Yeah, for sure.
And two, having that conversation with a parent, like, was it Kelly just said that, you know, a parent comes in and says that the child's been up at 4:30, you know, to be able to say to a parent, look, I'll see how they go. We might just sit and have story time instead of what we did, or we might have a little play outside and see if that, you know, changes their mood, or to actually suggest something specifically for that child that's actually really thoughtful about what the parent has just said. It shows the connection to the child. It shows that you're thinking about their child. And that's what parents want. They want to know that you are thinking about their child.
Yeah, absolutely, because that's what we want for our children.
It is.
So, yeah, it's exactly the same, that every single child that comes through is loved just as much as you love your children. So, yeah, always keeping that in mind. Okay, I think that's all of our questions and comments for tonight. Another fun little session tonight. Thank you.
That was good. Yeah.
So as always, we'll be back next week. So next week we'll be on Kath's page, Simple Reflects. Yes. And I will share that to the Start Your Own Family Daycare page so that you can get access to that. Go and follow Kath. So, and I would love to hear how long people have been doing family daycare for. So leave a comment below. We'd love to celebrate that next week, what everyone's been up to. And and don't forget to come and ask your questions. Leave a comment below or send either of us a private message and we can add that to our list for next week. Thanks.
Yeah.
So thank you, Kath.
Great questions. No dramas at all. Thank you for having me.
That was fun. All right.
Yeah, that was
See you all later.
Thanks. Bye, guys.